a fit and decently firing Martial is still an addition to our squad. Yeah, he may not be a starter, but he's the kind of guy who can actually change games from the bench, and given the opportunity. So I would still, it's up to the manager to try and motivate him to get him performing at his best. And if he does, it is an additional arsenal in our armor, in our.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I thought you
with
said
that.
Arsenal, then nak main Arsenal.
We're supposed to end this on a positive and nice note. Apa Arsenal? Hello.
That's why we ended by blaming the pants we wore on that day. The yellow color pants. Only the player can wear that pants.
Oh my God.
Let's not all wear that pants ever again.
Salam sejahtera and welcome to JomUnited. We are a Malaysian Manchester United fan channel. Yes, dengan bangganya Buatan Malaysia. If you are new to our channel, please smash the like button, leave a comment and click subscribe at the bottom right hand corner. Okay, and also don't forget to turn on the bell notification.
Ding dong!
So that you will be notified when we release a new video. Okay, and another thing guys, please do yourself a favor, check out our Telegram group, okay, because it's really made out of a bunch of cool people talking about football, bantering, a bit of drama going on, but it's under control. Okay, so basically this is really keeping me entertained, and occupied amidst this current pandemic. Okay, really check it out, links in the description below. Okay, and another thing, okay, it's a bit premature to say this right now. Okay, it's kind of like a Aaron Wan Bissaka cross. Okay, but then we are en route. We are almost there. We are almost hitting the 1,000 mark. Okay, and I just want to say that I'm actually very proud of where we have come so far as a community. Okay, I'm very proud also because I'm surrounded by a really bunch of cool people. Okay, the panel and also the community in the Telegram group. Okay, they are all very knowledgeable in football, and then they are like really literally fun people. Okay, I consider them not as friends but really as family. Okay, so and also on top of that, another thing, the unique thing about JomUnited is we are all made out of like different people, different races and whatnot. But then we have different opinions. Okay, and then we have disagreements at times, and then we tend to argue. Even personally, myself, I argue with the pundits as well. But then, end of the day, we somehow we are bound by the love for Manchester United, and we understand that sometimes certain remarks and whatnot is because of the passion that we have for Manchester United. Okay? And that is what that keeps us all together. And of course, to all the panels and also the community, okay, let's keep this respectful, okay, and let's continue growing as a harmonious community.
Yes, sir.
And just one more thing I just need to add up. Okay, the recent video that we just released, okay, because some of the guys actually brought this up. Okay, we actually did this thing which seemed not very tasteful right now. Okay, because we were actually caught up in the spur of the moment. We came up with the Badut of the match thing. Okay, thinking about it, okay, maybe it's not a good idea because again, we shouldn't be attacking our players. We should be more constructive. Okay, and for that, on behalf of the panel and whatnot, we apologize, and then moving forward, okay, we'll be more constructive, we'll be more positive, okay, again, towards building a better community environment, positiveness for Manchester United, okay, fans around. All right,
here.
So going into our show, Doc, okay, so Doc, what do you think about our game that day against Southampton?
To be honest, like the rest of us, I am a bit disappointed with the result. Of course, a draw. We were looking forward to win, especially after the way we started, and we're looking to roll out, 5 or 6 wins on the bounce. We did play well in patches. I think we could have buried the game actually in the first half where we had quite a lot of chances. The Martial header, I think even Lindelof missed a chance, Greenwood missed a chance. We didn't take our chances. We let them back into the game, and at points they dominated and we couldn't find a way back. But I think a few of the players didn't have really good games. I would agree with the panel in the previous episode as well. Fred, Maguire, right? And these things happen, I guess. Okay, but eventually, whatever said and done, we came away from a difficult place, St. Mary's, with a draw. It's not a very bad result. Not a like really hurtful. It's still early in the season, right? But what I am a bit disappointed is if some of the response of the United fans now. Again, I said this before the first game, and after the first game, there was so much of praise for Ole, for Pogba, for Fred, even Fred, right? He scored. Maguire, some people said, wow, this is the captain we're looking for. Now, after one game, it's become like totally negative again. Oh, it's the same team. We played in the same style. We couldn't break down the low block. And that disappoints me because, I mean, God forbid if we lose, what happens then? Right? The only out chance to come back out again after 2 games. So, yes, disappointing result, but I think we should get behind the team no matter what. That is my perspective, Adam.
Okay, maybe this. I personally think that if this was the first game of the season, the reaction wouldn't have been that bad. Okay, because number one, because we were expecting that Leeds would have come at us with all they got, and then again we were questioning our fitness of our first 11. You see, and then so happened that particular Leeds game was like wow, goals galore, and then it was like a very a very high. Everyone was happy and whatnot, and then of course, then maybe at the back of everyone's mind, they thought that Southampton was a pushover and whatnot, and then of course. It was a draw. Yes, we still got 1 point, but then I think it was a massive disappointment. And then on top of that, from the fall from the high from the previous game. So maybe, Josh, maybe anything you want to add on to that? That we would say that the more toxic kind of fans, or maybe do you see any positiveness from the game?
To me, honestly, I think every opinions of the fans matters. To start with, I think toxic or non-toxic, I think. Who defined toxicity in the first place, right? It's the fans that define another fan toxic in that sense. Yep. So to me, honestly, am I happy with the results? Of course not. I expect further. I expect 3 points actually. Do we see this kind of results in the season? Yes, of course. That's Ole. We're gonna expect this kind of result. Do we see another 5-1 result every time that we go away or home? No, for sure. So this disappointment will come throughout the whole season, right? We have another 36 games. Right, and 4 out of 6 points is actually not too bad. We always started off very, very even badly, always in the bottom half to start with, actually. So to me, I have a lot to say, especially the positive side of things. I would like to see the positive, because like what Doc said, what happened if it was a loss, right? It will be even worse. It will be the Ole in on game week 1 and Ole out on game week 2 from the same fan. So we call this the follow the win fan. Follow the win.
Lalang.
Hey, can I just, sorry, Josh, can I just interrupt you and say that it could have been a loss if it were not for the here, right?
I have to agree. Yes.
That was already covered in
sorry,
just gotta slip it in there, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess more to say about I really don't want to speak about toxicity of fans, because I feel every opinions of fans matters. It depends whether you are a Manchester United fan for 1 year or 20 years or 30 years. That's perhaps how you see things. But if you feel that this is going to be disappointment throughout, and you have to release your frustration or so, you're not wrong anyway, right? But hang in there, because it's going to be a very, very bumpy ride. And this is what the Premier League is all about, the away game that is tough. And this is where the pointers that is going to be matter the most.
Maybe, playing devil's advocate, maybe it's the passionate fans, some of it, the one that's calling for Ole's head, I don't care about them. That I think is pure toxic. Maybe the passionate fans, they are worried about what happened in last season, the start of last season. Those games that we lost points, which could have made us title contenders in the previous season. So maybe we don't want, even personally myself, I was taking it quite hard because I don't want this to repeat. Don't want it to repeat again. And then, of course, before the start of the season, we were talking about what's our anticipation of this season. What do we target for? For me, I want us to win the league. I really, really want us to win the league. Like I said, it's a do or die season for the manager, for players and whatnot, Pogba's situation and whatnot. So I really want us to do the best right from the start. Okay, maybe Mark, and maybe you want to share your opinions on this.
Yeah, just to touch a bit on the game a bit. I think for me, the frustration came more to how we actually got the draw. So it wasn't so much about whether it was a loss or a draw or win or whatever, because like you guys said, right, this is the nature of the game. We are going to win games, we're going to lose games, and we're going to draw games. I think maybe I speak for most of the fans as well also, or at least some of the fans, is that I think it's more towards the nature of the draw, right? It was very frustrating to some point, to watch the match. And especially like even Ole also said in the last 15-20 minutes of the game, it's just like we completely turn off. And I think that is like a bit traumatic because we are so familiar with that feeling, and that feeling has been there in the past season as well. There are a lot of fans say, it's just a second game. I mean, like, guys, there's only 38 games. It's actually not a lot if you think about it. if you don't nip this in the bud right now, then when? We enter Christmas. You know, Christmas season is always the big turning point, right? Boxing Day, the moment the things shift, if you're not there by then, it's going to be a very big uphill battle to win the league already, in that sense, right? But I agree with Josh as well. I mean, I guess that's one of the reasons why we created JomUnited as well, right? Because we want all these Malaysian fans to have an avenue to have a say. But like we said, keep it clean, guys, right? You are welcome to air your frustrations, your grievances, you know, whether it's in the YouTube channel or whether it's a Telegram group, but let's keep it as clean as possible, right? Let's cut out the profanities. I mean, we're all adults, you know, we're all thinking, you know, people. So of course you're welcome to give your comments and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's essentially for me more the frustration came from the way we drew the game more than actually, you know, drawing the game.
Sorry, Dok, let me add. I rasa the mungkin because of why actually kita overreact, because macam you lah. For me, I also want kita menang the title. Cuma mungkin kita tak nak nanti at the end of the season we get that Aguero moment back lah. Maksudnya the difference is the goal difference kan. So kita tak menang title because of the goal difference. So kita tak nak benda tu jadi. That's why mungkin early of the season ni kita a bit of overreact lah. But then heads up to Josh lah, dia kata we have to be like very calm down. It's just the second game. But then hopefully next week this Sunday against Wolves ni kita dapat 3 point back lah.
Correct. Actually, the important thing is I want to know who was the one who boo Ole first. The Telegram group that started 500 messages. Tapi tidur semalam, bro. Asyik layan telefon.
Siapa?
But again, it's all fun and games. Okay, the thing about it is
yes.
all fun and games. We all have fun, and then we keep it respectful at the end of the day. Okay. Okay. Going back to what I said earlier. Okay, we don't want to repeat what we experienced last season. We see progression. We want progression. Like what Ole said, we want progression. Okay, so in a way, what we were struggling last season, pretty much we don't have a consistent first 11. Okay, and then we find it hard to break down a low block team. Okay, which is what we are actually experiencing in the Southampton game. Okay, so maybe before we dive deep into that, Doc, maybe you want to share with us and please educate us. What does it mean to play against a low block team?
So I think a low block is something we know very well. It's also known by a term that was coined by someone we know very well, Jose Mourinho. Okay, in other words, parking the bus, right? And he accused. When he was manager of Chelsea, he accused everybody else of parking the bus. Later on, he himself started parking the bus in big games. Now, what it essentially means is you play with a very low defensive line, normally made up of 2 defensive lines of 4, right, or 5. So it's either they normally play the 4-1-4-1 or a 4-5-1 strategy where you got 2 lines, one at the back with 4, one in front of them with 5. Now they cover all that space and don't allow you to play in and around the box, right? And they also close together to prevent any limiting any attacks through the center. Now, for me, if you ask me, I think the key to breaking down this low block, of course, it's easier said than done, and this is why even teams like Liverpool, Barcelona, Real Madrid all struggle against smaller teams because smaller teams have now mastered this art to try and frustrate the big teams and to limit them chances at goal, right? So for me, I think there are few keys to breaking down this low block. You need to basically stretch these lines because they are very central. You have 4 defenders very central inside the box, another 4 in front of them, right? So they're very narrow, preventing any attacks coming to the center. So I think the key is to stretch the 2 lines, both the wide man of the 2 lines, to stretch it, whereby you actually give some more space into the center for your midfielders or creative midfielders to play those 1-2 passes around the box. And how do you stretch it? You need to have good fullbacks. That's why Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka are key. They need to be able to deliver good crosses. Now, that is a problem for us on the right. It has been a problem for the last 2 seasons, right? He gets into good positions, he cannot cross, cycles the ball back. Now, when he cycles the ball back, what happens? That line closes again, right? So you need good fullbacks so you can cross. And that is why, for me, I think Solskjaer wanted Trippier inside.
Yes.
Because Trippier is somebody who can go on the outside and cross the ball inside, right? Now, you need explosive wide men, and that is why they probably went for Sancho as well. Because he's somebody who can go out and cross, he can cut in and shoot, he can also play in and around the box with your front three. And the best way to combat, of course, actually for this double pivot is actually a good way to combat a low block. But you need good pivots. The problem is our pivots are not good enough, and that is why for me, I'm always asking to sign Declan Rice, because he's the type who can actually stay back, allowing one of the other pivots to move forward. And we saw that with England. We saw Calvin Phillips up there creating chances with Sterling and things like that, right? Because you got the one man who can cover the counter attack from the team that's doing the low block. I think you also need technically good midfielders in and around the box. And we have those. We have Bruno, we have Pogba, we have Van der Beek, somebody who's actually very good at breaking down low blocks, if you look at the Ajax game previously. And I think another key, right, and we saw this in the game against Southampton, you have to have a very good number 9. Somebody who can play in and around the box. You set the passes and you move in, you make those runs through the line. Martial was not doing that, unfortunately. Right? And that is why, if you look at the last few seasons, we've actually been better at breaking down the low blocks. Last year, we won a lot of games against teams that defended deep because we had Cavani.
Yes.
Right? And he makes that difference. He makes that runs in and around the box. He makes space inside the box for the crosses for those true passes inside. That was the difference. But don't forget, right? And I got just one more thing to say about this low block. When we came back from the lockdown, when we had Greenwood, Martial, and Rashford playing on top of their game, we broke down a lot of teams in the low block, right? How we did that was passes in and around the box, one touch, pop, and through, and we finished the chances. So if you ask me, we're getting better. We still stumble at times, and probably that is why we brought in Sancho, and we are looking to bring in somebody to like Trippier, who can cover on the right side. Yeah, so I think Ole has got plans in mind on how to break down, and he's looking for the right players to do it.
Okay, thanks, Doc, for a very detailed explanation. Really eye-opening even for myself. Okay, Josh, I got one question for you. Okay, if just say you are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, second half that day Manchester United, what subs would you make to to change the game that day?
For that day, right? Like what Doc say, we need to clarify the team as soon as we can know their strengths and weaknesses already. So we should have brought in Sancho and even Van der Beek inside already, because we know how deep Southampton plays, and their DMs are really solid. They are not two kindergarten kids. They are Romeo, even Ward-Prowse, Salisu, all these defensive players are really good. Yeah, they are very hardworking. They really man-mark you and all those things. So we need to identify those, and we need our creative player as much as we can. On that day, as you can see, Bruno wasn't as his form, and only Pogba was there. All right, and just to add on to a few more things for the game, right? And with a lot of negativity of with Maguire and Fred. Actually, I pointed out a few of the positive things that actually happened throughout the game. First of all, we never got our first 11 team there. All right. And the best part is knowing Ole, he always liked to play his first 11 in and out. But he actually gave a chance for Martial and Matic to perform, to even kickstart things. So this was actually one of the positive things that, he wants to rotate, but he can't rotate too many people at one go. All right. And we do not know what is the condition of Sancho or Varane, or this VDB in that sense. Only the manager will know what is he in the states of performance, mentality, emotions,
fitness and everything.
Fitness, stamina and everything. So yes, we can blame him, like why don't you play this and that, but he will know ultimately the best in that sense, on how the emotional state is. And on top of that, I also see the positive thing about the growth of Mason Greenwood. As soon as he subbed out Martial, right, he was a brilliant number 9.
Yes.
Now we can actually see him, even without Cavani, we don't feel that impact as much as we felt before. That growth with Greenwood playing the number 9 role, bringing players into play, taking shots from the box and this kind of thing. So we saw that growth. And of course, Pogba. No one mentioned about Pogba. 5 assists in 2 games, right? And he really grown out of this mentality to say that, I will only perform on the box. I will defend when I defend, attack and I attack. No, he actually grow in that sense. All right. On top of it, the away fans, of course, the away fans get there. At one point, we can also see that fans shouting more than St. Mary's together as a fan.
Yeah.
But that's the
and the song is back. And the song is back. Ole at the wheel is back.
Yeah, Ole at the wheel is back. Yeah, exactly. And then for another point, right, it's Ole as a manager. All right. Yes, this may not win a lot of things, but he is still on the record of 27 away and I think he got it the same as Arsene Wenger now.
No, Arsenal is at 28. So we are still 1 game short. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next game.
So you know, even Arsene Wenger, one of the greatest Premier League managers alive, right? He took almost how many years? 7 to 8 years to even achieve this kind of achievement. But Ole is now in his third full season, and we are achieving this. So these are all small pointers that I would see as a positive to grow. And then we didn't screw up the game by losing. We got 4 out of 6 points. And remember this: next game, Liverpool play Chelsea. If we win our next game, we will either be higher than either one of them, or even higher than both, because we will probably have better goal difference, or we scored more goals already, and we are still back in the title contenders. So, you know, we have to see all this perspective. And the last point I wanted to point out is these are kind of games that Ole will play this kind of squad in case there is a midweek Champions League, second league games that we need to win. And we know we can get a point out of the Premier League and to play our full squad in the Champions League, which we also did horrible in last season. So, you know, things like this we should think about. I mean, I've seen in the perspective of knowing Ole and Manchester United for a long time already, and we expect this kind of thing. And you know what? Be prepared for more disappointment from Ole, because he sometimes tinker with a lot of things. Yes. But you know, I still back him up to get the results at the end of the season. That's my confidence in him. I hope it happens.
Doc, anything you want to add on to maybe Mason Greenwood or anything?
Yeah, I think in a previous, I think last year, right, I made this observation about Greenwood. He's a wonderful talent. Both feet, he can cut in, he can cut outside and shoot. Great finisher. But my only contention with him was that he goes missing in games, you know, and he only comes up, like you see him for a while and then you don't see him for long periods of the games. The good thing is now we are starting to see this. And I think this is probably the benefit of, you know, seeing how Cavani practices, trains, makes those runs. And I see him doing that now. He's dropping, he's getting the ball, he's laying it off, and he makes the run, right? Especially when he plays centrally. So what Josh said is right. When even in the first game, but again, it's against Leeds. So we need to see him in further games playing that central position, especially games where the teams are playing the low block. But what I'm seeing in this season so far is encouraging. And 2 goals in 2 games is wonderful for him.
One thing I got a question regarding the away record. Okay, I'm not being a wet blanket or whatnot. Okay, our situation is much different than the Invincibles because we played away games without the fans. Okay, and then another thing is, it's a good record and whatnot. But personally, for myself, I would rather win something. I would rather win trophies than that kind of record. So, what do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, any day, lah. I think the 27 away game, like what Josh said, of course, we still want to hang on to the positives, right? In that sense, we celebrate whatever we have, but ultimately, if the cabinet's still going to be empty, then it's going to be tough on everybody, right? Of course, I still have Ole's, I still back Ole and all this stuff and all, but just to say to Josh, actually, I don't agree that Greenwood is ready to take on that role full on yet, because like what Doc said, I still feel like we really, because if you remember last season, we were down, I think 2-1 or 2-0 or 2-1 or something like that to Southampton. And then we won in the very last minute. Cavani scored 2 goals to make it 3-2. And it's like what Doc said, you see, because Southampton played a 4-4-2 against us with a low block, and they were very solid with their shape. And it's people like Cavani, right, who can really like find these small channels and then go inside and get it. And like what I think Doc or Josh also said, Pogba can deliver these balls, you see. That's why Pogba was so lively in that game, because he is actually the right man against this type of teams. Because we saw in Leeds as well, the amount of like those deadly passes that just gets right in, Bruno Fernandes also can do things like that and all. So I would actually still say like Greenwood, because Rashford is injured, right? And we're not going to see him for quite a bit. Sancho probably still needs some time to adapt in. So that's why like I would still rather have Cavani up front, to make those runs through the channels and stuff like that, and kacau them at that side. Because let's be honest, When people see Wan-Bissaka run down that flank, they're not going to be worried, we have to be honest with ourselves,
I think was it Wan-Bissaka that actually did a cross, but then no one actually came.
Yes, and the crosses were
in the Cavani moment. That could have been a Cavani moment.
Yeah, and then the cross, sometimes his crosses like stay so long in the air, and it's really the thing about low blocks, like what Doc say, right? You have to really fast-paced attack down the flank, catch them off guard when they're not ready in their formation, because once they are set in their formation, right, it's going to be very difficult already.
Yeah.
Because if you look at how Liverpool play against low blocks, you look at how these people play against low blocks, right? They will pass the ball across, left, right, make quick switches, bring them into a corner and then quickly make a switch. Actually, that's how we actually scored. If you look at it, right? We make a quick switch through the middle. Pogba managed to get a leg in, and then after that, we managed to get a shot onto goal. You see, right? So the creative players also, to be honest, we are lacking in that sense I feel.
And just to add on to that, I think Liverpool's style of breaking down low block is slightly different. They've got, really good fullbacks.
Yes.
Both their fullbacks are able to deliver perfect crosses. They're able to go to the byline and pull defenders with them.
Correct.
And that is the key difference.
Defenders are scared. Then the defender there has to make a decision to go to the fullback or hold the formation. Because if they go towards the fullback, they're going to leave holes in the middle already. And then that's where people like Cavani, people like Fernandes or Greenwood, can come in and make the runs and make the cuts. And then that's when we can score goals, you see. And then when they know that Wan-Bissaka is not a threat and they only have Shaw, half their work is done for them already.
Yep, true,
right.
True, agree.
Yeah.
Okay, one particular individual, personally, I think would have made a difference that day was Van der Beek. I think from what actually Ole did, he substituted. He brought Pogba to play a deeper role, and then he put Lingard up front, which I thought was I kind of understand that he wants supply from the deeper role, but then I think Pogba was the most threatening, and then creative play we had.
Agree.
Forward that day.
Agree.
So maybe Van der Beek would have came in and did a better job in a deeper role while Pogba was maintaining his position.
Agree.
But the thing now is Van der Beek is he cannot seem to get game time. So Pijal, your opinion. Okay, even there are sekarang ada fans yang cakap the way that Jose Mourinho dia treat the game time that he gave Luke Shaw was even better than the way Ole is treating Van der Beek now. So apa pendapat you?
Itu yang one thing yang memang macam kita menyebabkan every fans yang especially in Malaysia, kita tak faham kenapa Van der Beek tak dapat peluang dia nak show dia punya talent tau. The last time I remember yang dia main pun masa first game of the last season lah. Yang masa dia score consolation goal lawan Crystal Palace kan. Itu je lah contribution yang I masih ingat sampai sekarang, even though dah almost one season, one year right. But that's the contribution thing about very kesian dengan dia. Cuma itulah macam you cakap, macam kita touch tadi pasal low block ni. I think memang macam I agree with you lah. Maksudnya kita memang perlukan somebody connected the midfield and also the striker tau. Maksudnya ataupun someone yang memang akan duduk depan that doing all these short passing. Players like Mata, players like Van der Beek, they have that ability in terms of nak confuse the center back in front of goal tau. So memang yalah, buffer lah. Memang I sendiri tak faham kenapa, but then he is the perfect guy for that opponent. So hopefully I think Wolf pun akan play the same kind of player, the same kind of gameplay, which is a low block. So I hope he's given a chance especially when it's very tight game kan. You don't need to put Lingard lah. For me, I don't prefer Lingard or even all these fast pace macam Daniel James to play against the low block because tak ada function. But then put someone yang memang can do all this short passing, cute little very cheap. Or kan, kalau nak kata Mata punya style pun just put them, at least contribute to something rather than kita letak Lingard yang also Daniel James dekat wide. Untuk apa? Untuk crossing je. Baik tak payah kan. Kita pun bukan ada focal point yang Masya pun tak boleh header kan. So tak ada tujuan kalau katakan kita letak winger. So just try Van der Beek. I memang I really hope lah. I kesian lah Van der Beek. Dia dah bulk up, dia dah ada all this physical punya badan kan, nampak kan ada masa-masa kan. But then dia tak dapat game time dan memang I very kesian dengan dia. So just as a fan of Netherlands FC.
That Dutch ambassador, I'm also disappointed.
That's right.
I also don't know what to say already lah. Kesian him lah.
You have to say something because I'm actually going to point the question to you.
Oh my God.
Our Dutch ambassador. So please speak on behalf of your fellow countrymen.
This is our one and only sole Dutch player, and that also he don't want to give chance lah. I mean, that's,
Kesian.
Yeah, and Van der Beek, right? He and how he came from Ajax, how he breaks down plays, how he breaks down defenders. He's like the younger version of Mata. I don't know. I really don't see why Ole is not playing him as much as he can. I mean, I'm just hoping that the next game he starts, per se. And, and then imagine we have Vanderbeek, Pogba and Bruno creating this kind of outlets.
Yeah.
And I really hope to see this against Wolves. I think with these three against, and like what Pijal said, Wolves is going to bring up the same kind of lineup. After watching that game, the style, the formation, the only thing better that Wolves can do is their counter attack. That's all. And that's where our wing backs need to be very more alert. So yeah, I'm really disappointed.
Varane, no worries. Varane will be in the game, no worries. I think you'll be fine.
But actually,
I hope so too.
The thing is about Varane and Sancho also, actually you can see Sancho also is still not very settled, to be honest. You can see. Sharp, and I think I think I read somewhere they said like sometimes if you put them in too soon, right, you may break their confidence. And if like top players like them, if you break their confidence, right, it's going to be tough. People like Dele Alli as well. So top guy, then when Mourinho went in there, didn't utilize him properly, then, but he's doing much better this time around. So I think give them some time lah. It's not, bukan lah, dah spend so much money, we put them on bench. No, it's take time to assimilate into the whole thing as well. And you have to understand, people always then, but Lukaku play how many seasons in Premier League?
Yeah.
And he's only been away for, I think, 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. So cannot compare lah. I mean, you have to let them settle in first before you let them running. So don't worry, their time will come. For
sure.
But Vanderbeek's time has to come really.
Vanderbeek is long overdue, man.
Yeah.
I have a feeling once Varane comes in and, in a game or two, the defense looks settled, he may get a little bit bolder with his midfield choice. I have a feeling, right? And that's where, because he's been saying from the beginning of the season, Vanderbeek has a role to play. And I don't know who will go into the center, but he can probably then play, even if he plays with double pivot, one may be a defensive mid, one can be a slightly more attacking mid, right? And I think just to add on, I think Vanderbeek in and around the box, you've seen him do that step overs, you step over the ball and then somebody else scores and things like that. He's very good at that. And those are things that can help you break down a low block. Again, I'm not saying he's the obvious choice because he has also not really dominated games when he has played, but it's a new season, he's looking fitter, he's had a good preseason. Let's try and see, maybe he might be you might suddenly second season, he might be the one to start performing. So let's hope he gets some game time, more than his 5 minutes or 2 minutes that he's getting. And I think once Varane comes in, once Sancho comes in, you will see a different sort of gameplay. I think so, in my opinion.
Fair point.
Okay, moving into the Wolves game. Okay, Josh, who would you line up against Wolves?
Based on the lineup that I foresee it happening, I think the back five, if I take out Lindelof, I think Varane is about time. That's where he should start. I think he had enough of training sessions. Time to gel with Maguire. I know there are talks even for Varane playing with Lindelof, but just giving the benefit of doubt to Maguire, he's still our captain of the club, and maybe
and you spend $400 on the jersey.
Exactly. So I just hoping for the price to rise in that sense. So so Varane and Maguire to start in the middle. Wan-Bissaka on the right, Luke Shaw on the left, and I'm hoping the two central person would be McTominay and Vanderbeek. I really hope that this can happen. I know it may not be favorable to Ole, and I still think he will start McFred in the middle, but I hope he does McT and Vanderbeek. The three supporting Greenwood will be Pogba, Fernandes, and the other one, I'm still trying to put a pun on Lingard because I still feel that he has a lot of potential. We brought him a bit too late because he's a good starter of the game as well. He gives that dimension to attack players, and Wolves, their centre backs is quite slow, in that sense. So we want to tire their legs as much as we can as well. So I'll start Pogba, Bruno, and Lingard. If not Sancho, because I really do not know how fit is he. I do not, like what Mark said, we don't want to just put him for the sake of his price tag. We need to play people who are on form. And Lingard did perform in terms of preseason and all those things. But yeah, who knows? If Sancho comes back, he'll be first choice. But if let's say things don't work out, maybe Lingard. And then this would be the starting lineup in that sense.
Okay, Pija, score prediction: Wolves United.
Ooh, tough. I will go for 3-1.
3-1. Ini ikhlas bukan nak menghasut batu api.
Kalau 3-1, Ole in. Next week tak ada bu.
Yeah, but this is at Molinho, it's at their stadium, and Wolves has been doing, to be honest, they started quite well lah. I would have to say.
Ya, betul. Tapi kalau kita tengok stats on the first 2 game tu, kita tengok dia punya stats, dia punya shots on target je 9 tau. On target dia 9, tapi the shots dia tu 42. So the percentage is around 26%. So I wouldn't be worried about our defensive tau, because our defense is going to be solid because of this Wolf punya. Tapi macam mana our attacking punya creativity tu nak break down the defender. Tu je yang my worry sekarang. So tapi I go for 3-1 lah. Lingard 1 gol.
Okay, how about you, Mark? Score prediction.
I think it's going to be close, to be honest, because Wolves has a new manager, right? Bruno is there now, so he's definitely going to be out there to try to impress, and the players are going to try to help him as well. So I think the scoreline is going to be 1-0 to United, of course, because I think United can play well against them.
Okay, Doc, how about you, Doc?
Again, I agree with Mark. It's going to be another tough away game. Molinho has never been easy for us. We always scrape by with a 1 goal or a draw. But I'm going to go with, my heart says 2-1, right? But because of fantasy, I'm going to go with 2-0. Finally for me.
Swap De Gea out, Ray. Swap De Gea out.
The only immovable object, Mark. Sorry.
Seriously, scoring goals is one thing, but we really need the clean sheet. That would be a boost of confidence.
Yes.
Back 5. Okay, lastly, Josh, how about you? Score predictions.
I would say a 2-0 or a 3-0. If Varane starts, I think it will be great to have a clean sheet at the back, and most importantly, I only see the threat on the wings with Adama and Trincao. That's the only.
He's not going to Spurs yet. Apparently,
not
Spurs
yet.
is going after him. Not yet.
Not yet, but likely he'll go because his manager is there. But I just hope it's a 2-0 or 3-0, clean sheet for us. The reason why I was also high scoring because of my FPL of Bruno Fernandes.
All these bias opinion.
Hey guys, don't talk about FPL, please. Be loyal to your teams, please. Be loyal to our team.
I'm very loyal with Bruno Fernandes because
my
I know he will score.
My FPL, no scousers inside there.
He had to keep a clean sheet and make about 10 saves would be just nice.
Clean sheet I think say clean sheets are definitely good as what we said, right?
Yeah, I think for him as well, right? I mean, now that he's performing again, the first 2 games of the season has been encouraging. Made a big save the other day. I think for his confidence, right, a couple of clean sheets would do wonders. Like that day was unlucky to get a deflected goal. Whatever it is, as a keeper, you had a good game but no clean sheet. So if you can keep a couple of clean sheets, I think it will do his confidence real justice, and he will actually perform better than he's doing now.
Yeah. Actually, I know we are running out of time, but then since you're talking about confidence, one person that really one like serious. Okay, I'm putting on my serious face. This is my serious face. Okay, one person that really need a lot of confidence now is Anthony Martial. Okay, I don't think he played to his best of his. Hey. You're serious.
No, I think Dom. I know exactly what he needs. He needs to go back to his house. Draw a goalpost on the wall and keep trying to hit it,
It's getting toxic. This is supposed to be a
no.
But it's getting toxic.
Okay. Let me put some positivity to it, right, and put some numbers to it, right. Martial at the Southampton game was just not good, lah. You look at the amount of touches that he had in the game, right. It's just not great, lah. I don't know. Maybe he's just not cut out to play against low blocks, but it's a bit hard, lah. I mean, if you're a number 9. You got to be able to play against anything, way.
Yeah.
But like Dom said,
you put your Holland thing also, the background also okay.
Hey, Dom, I know it's again late. I got just one question for you. Would you prefer to see Martial in the center or on the left? Now that Rashford is out, right?
I think he plays well, better on the left, to be honest. Okay, I don't think he has it in him to actually run into those tight spots like someone like Cavani, like you guys mentioned. But again, like that day, he was not sharp. For sure, he's not sharp. And then, yes, I think taking him out early on was a good move. Okay, but then again, the thing that, I mean, a lot of people out there, they are attacking Martial now. They are taking advantage of this thing, whether Martial in, Martial out or whatnot. But really, my question to you guys is, I mean, he did the sub pretty early on. I think it was 57 minutes and whatnot. And then again, we had a goal. And then we got like half an hour to chase. the winning goal and whatnot. But was there actually a difference when Sancho came in with the midfield that we had that day? That is my question to you all. No doubt Marcel didn't play his best that day. Yes, he's not fit. Probably he shouldn't have started that game. Okay, probably now what he needs is to come in maybe later on in the second half or maybe the last 20 minutes or whatnot to net a goal in to get his confidence back. That would be a better move if I'm
and if I were a manager, I would just tell him, I'll stick him on the left and say, you know what, just go and take on players now. Take the ball, run at players.
Yes,
I think sometimes he's best doing that instead of trying to make runs into space, and that's not his game.
Yes,
so let him take on players, let him get past a few, let him get some shots on target, and that would actually add some confidence to his game.
But then just to add on to Dom is like, I get your point, but bringing Martial out and Sancho in, it didn't change much of the game, but it's not so much because of whether it's Martial or not Martial. See, I mean, like the game didn't pick up as well, so because the team just didn't really have the confidence to play against a low block, for example, or they just didn't have the guys to make the runs or the flanks, like what Doc said, the fullbacks to actually threaten the formation and stuff like that. You see, but I agree with you, Dom. Like Martial definitely needs the confidence, but unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get it here, lah. In all fairness, it's either he has to play more with the reserves or whatever and start building it up from there. Because I mean, all jokes aside, right? He really has to build it somewhere else there. But if Rashford comes back, Cavani is there, Greenwood is there, Martial is starting to go down the pecking order already,
Yep. Agree.
Once Rashford comes up, up front we have Greenwood and Cavani, we can cycle those guys. Then when Sancho is on full swing again, right?
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. That's why he needs to discover his form sooner than later. And then on top of that, Pogba is occupying the left also at the moment. And then when Pogba is there, even that day when Pogba actually played a false nine, you can actually see Marcel actually move to the left for Pogba to occupy the number 9 position. So his spot is really threatened. I mean, he's really moving down.
Which makes things worse for him, because like in his mind, it's like, I need to perform, and his timeline is coming up. So.
But again,
seems like everything is going against him now, lah.
Yeah, but again, you know what? I'm with Dom on this, lah. A fit and decently firing Martial is still an addition to our squad.
He may
not be a starter, but he's the kind of guy who can actually change games from the bench, and given the opportunity. So I would still, it's up to the manager to try and motivate him to get him performing at his best. And if he does, it is an additional arsenal in our.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I thought you said Arsenal, then you nak main Arsenal.
You're supposed to end this on a positive and nice note. Apa Arsenal?
That's why we ended by blaming the pants we wore on that day. The yellow color pants. Only Vijaya can wear that pants.
Okay? Oh my God.
Let's not all wear that pants ever again.
Okay, I think, guys, we are at the end of the show today. All right. So,
awesome.
What do you guys think about the Van de Beek topic? Okay, and then the way that we break down low blocks. Okay, maybe leave a comment below. Share your thoughts. Okay, positiveness, constructiveness, no toxic kind of comments, please. We are keeping this a detox kind of episode, all right? So guys, as usual, please like, share, subscribe. Right, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Cheers.
See you guys.
Adios.